Ever find yourself jolting awake at 3 a.m.? Are your mind spinning with thoughts, your pulse racing even though you're trying to rest? Then you lie there helplessly watching the minutes tick by, wondering how you'll ever drift off again. What if I told you the reason you're waking up in the early hours isn't just your brain, it's a hormone quietly pulling the strings in the dark? That hormone is cortisol. Yes, cortisol is often spoken about in terms of stress and anxiety, but few people realize it plays a crucial role in your sleep cycle too. In this video, you'll learn exactly why you might be waking up right around 3 a.m., and what's happening inside your body when it does, and most importantly, what you can do right now to calm things down and fall back asleep. Stay with me till the end because I'll also share lesser-known facts about cortisol's rhythms and habits you can adopt tonight to stop it from sabotaging your sleep again. If you've been frustrated by those nights when sleep abandons you, this video is for you. By the time we're done, you'll have a clear understanding of how your body's alarm clock may be stuck on the wrong hour, and you'll walk away with actionable steps you can take tonight. Whether you're regularly waking at 3 a.m. or just want to protect your sleep in the future, you'll find value here. Welcome to our channel, your place for getting to the root of sleep problems and unlocking better rest, without complicated jargon or gimmicks. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos where we dive deeper into hormones, sleep, stress, and practical ways to reclaim your night. Let's get started. Cortisol is a natural hormone that your body relies on every single day. It is made by two small glands that sit on top of your kidneys called the adrenal glands. People often call it the stress hormone. But that name only tells half the story. Cortisol is not always the enemy. In fact, it is essential for survival. It helps control your energy levels, blood pressure, and even how your body uses fats and sugars. Without it, you would not have the strength or alertness to get through your day. When everything is balanced, cortisol works in harmony with your internal body clock. Early in the morning, cortisol levels begin to rise, pushing your body out of deep sleep and preparing you to wake up. It gives you that morning boost. The reason you can get out of bed and face the day. This is why cortisol is often called a get up and go hormone. Throughout the day, it slowly decreases as your body burns energy and deals with everyday stress. By nighttime, it should drop to its lowest point, allowing your body to relax and drift into sleep. This natural pattern of rise and fall is called the circadian rhythm of cortisol. It follows a 24-hour cycle that aligns with your sleep and wake times. In a healthy rhythm, cortisol is lowest around midnight when the body is resting and healing. Then, as the early morning hours approach, usually between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., it begins to climb again. This gradual rise prepares your brain to transition from deep sleep to a lighter phase, so you naturally wake as daylight appears. However, cortisol is sensitive. It reacts to everything that signals stress, both physical and emotional. A tough day at work, arguments, constant screen time, caffeine late in the day, or even intense workouts too close to bedtime can push cortisol higher than it should be. When that happens, the body's natural rhythm starts to shift. Instead of being low and peaceful at night, cortisol can spike early, long before sunrise. That early surge is what can jolt you awake at 3 a.m., making your body believe it is time to start the day. Cortisol's influence goes beyond sleep. It also affects mood, focus, and metabolism. When levels are balanced, you feel calm yet alert. But when they are too high for too long, you might experience anxiety, irritability, or that tired but wired feeling where you crave rest but your body refuses to shut down. That delicate balance is why understanding cortisol is so important, because when it's out of sync, your nights and days both start to suffer. Between 2 and 3 in the morning, something subtle begins to happen inside your body. As part of its natural rhythm, cortisol slowly starts to rise after reaching its lowest point during deep sleep. This increase is part of your internal clock, preparing you for the day ahead. It gently pushes your brain out of the deepest stages of rest and sets the stage for a smooth wake-up a few hours later. When everything is working properly, this rise is slow and steady. You stay asleep and your body transitions naturally toward morning. The problem begins when cortisol levels are already higher than normal before this natural rise even starts. If your body is under stress, your cortisol baseline sits higher throughout the night. Then when that normal early morning increase begins, it becomes exaggerated. Instead of a small, quiet lift, it turns into a sudden spike. That spike sends a signal to your brain that it is time to be alert, even though it is still the middle of the night. You wake up suddenly, often with a quickened heartbeat or racing thoughts, and you cannot explain why your body feels awake when the world is still asleep. Stress, anxiety, or unresolved emotional tension can all push cortisol higher during the night. Even something as simple as worrying before bed or scrolling on your phone can trick your body into staying alert. Physical factors can also play a role. Late night snacks that raise and then drop blood sugar can trigger cortisol release to stabilize it again. Caffeine or alcohol close to bedtime can disturb the hormonal balance too, keeping your system active when it should be winding down. When the cortisol surge hits too early, your body misreads the signal. The brain activates the same alert systems that prepare you for morning. Your heart rate rises slightly, breathing becomes shallower, and your mind becomes active. Instead of resting, you are thrust into a state of wakefulness that feels involuntary. The frustrating part is that even after the initial jolt fades, the cortisol remains high enough to prevent you from drifting back to sleep. You may lie there, half awake, thoughts spiraling, your body caught between wanting rest and being ready to move. Over time, this pattern can become a nightly routine. Your body starts to anticipate the spike, almost as if it has been trained to wake at that same hour. It is a cycle that feeds itself. The more you worry about waking up, the more stress you generate, and the more likely it is that cortisol will rise again. What starts as a harmless early morning awakening can slowly turn into a habit that keeps your sleep shallow and restless night after night. High nighttime cortisol does not happen without reason. It is usually the result of a body that has been pushed into constant alert mode. Chronic stress is one of the main triggers. When you spend your days under tension, rushing through work, dealing with worries, or carrying emotional pressure, your brain keeps signaling your adrenal glands to release more cortisol. The problem is that this signal does not switch off just because night arrives. The body stays in a semi-alert state, ready to respond to threats that no longer exist. Over time, this pattern can make your cortisol rhythm run late, keeping levels high long after you should be resting. Anxiety plays a similar role. Even mild anxiety keeps the mind active and prevents it from fully relaxing. Racing thoughts, overthinking, or emotional stress before bedtime tell your body that it is unsafe to rest. Cortisol rises in response, preparing you to fight or flee when you should be drifting into deep sleep. This constant readiness confuses your internal clock. Instead of dropping to its lowest point at night, cortisol remains elevated, making your sleep light and easily disturbed. Poor sleep habits can also push cortisol out of balance. Going to bed and waking up at different times each day, spending hours in front of bright screens before sleep, or sleeping in a room with artificial light all send mixed signals to your brain. Light tells your body it is still daytime, delaying the natural drop in cortisol. The later you expose yourself to screens or strong lighting, the later your cortisol peak will occur. This means your body may still be producing daytime levels of cortisol well into the night, leaving you restless when you should be calm. Eating late at night adds another layer to the problem. When you eat close to bedtime, your blood sugar rises and then falls again as your body processes food. A sudden drop in blood sugar can make your body release cortisol to bring it back up. This hormonal response is the body's way of protecting you from low energy, but it comes at the cost of your sleep. The cortisol burst can wake you up or keep you from reaching the deepest stages of rest. Even the environment around you can have an impact. Noise, room temperature, or an uncomfortable mattress can act as subtle stressors, preventing the body from fully relaxing. For some people, medical conditions like sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome create repeated stress responses during the night. Each small interruption prompts the release of more cortisol, keeping your body in a loop of shallow, reactive sleep. Caffeine, alcohol, and intense late-night exercise can all make things worse. Caffeine lingers in the bloodstream for hours, signaling alertness long after you stop drinking it. Alcohol may make you sleepy at first, but later disrupts your natural sleep cycles, pushing cortisol higher during the second half of the night. Strenuous workouts too close to bedtime can trigger an adrenaline rush, which then keeps cortisol elevated well into the early morning hours. All of these factors combine to create an environment where your body forgets how to relax, leaving cortisol in control long after the day should be done. One of the clearest signs that cortisol may be behind your restless nights is a pattern of waking around the same time each night, usually close to 3 in the morning. It feels almost predictable. You drift off fine, but somewhere in those quiet early hours, your eyes open and you are suddenly wide awake. This pattern is not random. It often reflects a rhythm inside your body that has shifted out of balance. Cortisol, which should still be low at that hour, begins to rise too early, nudging your brain into alertness before dawn. When this happens, you do not just wake up slowly. You wake up sharply. Your heart might beat a little faster. Your breathing feels shallow, and your body feels slightly tense, as if it is preparing for something. That alert feeling comes from your sympathetic nervous system, the same system that activates during stress or danger. It is as if your body believes it needs to stay awake and aware, even though your mind only wants to rest. The more often this happens, the more your body becomes used to this false signal, turning it into a nightly pattern that can be difficult to break. You may also notice that the wake-ups are worse after stressful days. Arguments, deadlines, overthinking, or emotional strain can leave your cortisol higher than normal through the evening. When night arrives, instead of calming down, your system stays in high gear. As cortisol continues circulating, it interferes with the deep, slow-wave sleep that your body needs for recovery. The result is light, easily disturbed rest and that all too familiar moment when you bolt awake in the dark, fully alert. Other signs of high cortisol often show up alongside these early awakenings. You might have trouble falling asleep even when you feel tired. Your sleep feels fragmented, you doze off, wake up, drift back, and never truly sink into deep rest. You could feel wired at night but sluggish in the morning, as though your body's timing has flipped. Some people also experience a dry mouth, night sweats, or a sense of inner restlessness during the night, all linked to heightened cortisol activity. Even daytime symptoms can reveal the same imbalance. Feeling tense, irritable, or craving sugar and caffeine for energy may signal that cortisol is running the show. If you notice that your energy crashes in the afternoon but suddenly returns late at night, it often means your cortisol rhythm is inverted. Over time, these patterns blend together: restless nights, groggy mornings, and a constant undercurrent of fatigue that coffee cannot fix. All these subtle cues point back to one thing: a body stuck in a state of alertness when it should be in a state of recovery. When you wake up in the middle of the night, the first and most important thing to do is stay calm. The moment you panic, your body senses it and releases even more cortisol, making it harder to drift back to sleep. Try to accept that waking up at night sometimes happens. It does not mean the rest of your night is ruined. Remind yourself that your body knows how to rest. It just needs a little help settling again. The less you fight the wakefulness, the faster your nervous system begins to relax. Avoid reaching for your phone or checking the time. The light from your screen sends a powerful message to your brain that it is morning. Even a quick glance can suppress melatonin, the hormone that helps you stay asleep. Watching the clock only adds stress as you start counting the hours left before morning. Instead, keep your eyes closed or softly focused on the darkness around you. Let your body stay in that half-relaxed state rather than snapping into full wakefulness. One of the simplest ways to bring your body back into calm is through controlled breathing. Slow, rhythmic breathing tells your brain that you are safe and allows your heart rate to slow down. Try a gentle pattern, such as inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8. You can also try counting each breath or repeating a calming phrase in your mind. The goal is to redirect your focus away from racing thoughts and back toward your body's natural rhythm. If your mind stays active, do not force yourself to lie perfectly still. Sometimes staying in bed while feeling restless builds frustration, which again raises cortisol. If you have been awake for more than 15 or 20 minutes, quietly get up, move to a calm, dimly lit space. You might sit in a chair, stretch lightly, or read something gentle and comforting. Avoid anything stimulating, including checking messages or turning on bright lights. Once you begin to feel drowsy again, return to bed and allow sleep to take over naturally. Keeping your environment peaceful makes a big difference. The room should stay cool, dark, and quiet. If you need a little background sound, use soft white noise or a quiet fan. Avoid sudden changes in temperature or light that might signal your body it is time to wake up. If your thoughts start to wander into worry about tomorrow, about work, about not sleeping, bring your focus back to your breathing. Feel the weight of the blanket, the steadiness of your inhale and exhale, and remind yourself that rest, even without full sleep, is still valuable. Small choices in those nighttime moments can reset your system. Each time you respond with calm instead of stress, you teach your body that being awake at night is not a threat. Gradually, your cortisol levels drop, your muscles loosen, and your mind begins to settle back into the rhythm of rest. In that quiet space, sleep often returns naturally, without forcing it or overthinking the process. Preventing those early morning wake-ups starts with helping your body regain its natural rhythm. Cortisol thrives on routine, so one of the best things you can do is create a consistent sleep and wake schedule. Going to bed and waking up at the same time each day, even on weekends, trains your body to know when to release and when to lower cortisol. Over time, this steady rhythm keeps your internal clock synchronized and reduces the chances of that sudden 3 a.m. spike. Stress management during the day plays a major role as well. When you carry tension into the night, your body keeps producing cortisol long after the stress has passed. Gentle exercise earlier in the day helps release built-up stress hormones in a healthy way. Activities like walking, yoga, or light stretching can lower cortisol naturally and signal your body that it is safe to rest later. Mindfulness practices, deep breathing, and journaling before bed also help clear out mental clutter so your mind does not race when it is time to sleep. What and when you eat matters too. Heavy or late night meals force your body to keep digesting when it should be resting. Try to finish dinner at least 3 hours before bed and keep it balanced with protein, healthy fats, and slow digesting carbohydrates to maintain stable blood sugar overnight. Avoid caffeine after mid-afternoon. It lingers in your system and can subtly elevate cortisol when you are trying to wind down. Alcohol may seem relaxing at first, but it disrupts the deep stages of sleep and causes cortisol to rise later in the night, often leading to early awakenings. Your environment also shapes how your body releases hormones. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet, conditions that tell your brain it is time to power down. Use blackout curtains or a sleep mask to block stray light. If noise is a problem, try a sound machine or a gentle fan to create a steady, soothing background. These small environmental signals strengthen your body's association between darkness and rest, helping cortisol drop naturally after sunset. Morning light exposure is another simple yet powerful tool. Spending 10 to 15 minutes in natural light soon after waking helps set your cortisol rhythm for the day. It teaches your brain that morning is the time for alertness and energy, so levels fall appropriately at night. In contrast, limit bright or blue light exposure from screens in the evening. The artificial glow tricks your brain into thinking it is still daytime, delaying the release of melatonin and keeping cortisol higher than it should be. If you've been trying these adjustments and still find yourself waking in the early hours, it may be worth seeking professional guidance. A sleep specialist can help identify hidden factors such as hormone imbalances, sleep apnea, or chronic stress responses that interfere with cortisol regulation. Sometimes subtle shifts in lifestyle or medical support can help restore the natural rise and fall rhythm that your body depends on to rest deeply through the night. Cortisol is not your enemy. It is simply a messenger doing its job at the wrong time. It naturally rises in the early morning to help you wake, but when stress, poor habits, or disrupted rhythms push it too high too soon, it can jolt you awake around 3 a.m. The good news is that this pattern can change. You have far more control over your sleep than it might seem. By calming your system, building steady routines, and protecting your nights from stress and stimulation, you can retrain your body to rest deeply again. The next time you find yourself staring at the ceiling in the dark, remember your body is not broken. It is responding to signals you can influence with small, consistent changes. Those early wake-ups can fade, replaced by longer, smoother sleep and calm, energized mornings. If this video helped you understand what is really happening when cortisol wakes you up at 3 a.m., give it a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us which of these habits you plan to try tonight to reclaim your rest. And if you are new here, subscribe to our channel for more science-based, easy-to-follow tips to help you sleep better, stress less, and wake up feeling restored. You do not have to just lie awake and wait for morning. Take these steps, take back your nights, and let your body find its balance again.